Why are we seeing more premium CTV moving into programmatic? What's working?
So there's a couple things happening right now in the industry. I think in the last 5 years, we've seen a significant growth of CTV. The eyeballs are moving, the ad spending is following, but there's a bunch of challenges, right? We have an opportunity to monopolize and monetize those eyeballs. And we haven't yet gotten there yet, but we're getting there. It's getting much better.
Why is that? What's the challenge?
Yep, so there's a couple things. First, operationally in the workflows, it's heavy. You're moving into a new space. The ad tech teams are trying to figure out how to do it. I think we have opportunities to train them. I think we have opportunities to message it better. But then there's challenges of the supply. Is the supply even there? Do they get the premium content that they're looking for? They're looking for live sports. It's not there yet, right? We've also have other challenges with identity. How do I know who I'm trying to reach? How do I connect them? How do I find those households and those individuals? And so the ecosystem's got to come together to sort of figure those problems out for them.
Programmatic advertising is really complex. Why are relationships so important, especially with this?
Advertising is complex just in general, and relationships are sort of the key of how the industry operates. You've got suppliers, you've got publishers, you've got distributors, you've got agencies, and they all have to have great relationships because what they're doing is negotiating how we advertise and get it on air. Programmatic is, our goal here is to simplify that and focus on how we transact so that they don't have to worry about it and then they can build their relationships better. Another problem is a lot of those relationships are strong right now because they're in private marketplaces. And what we need to do is try to figure out how to get out of the private marketplaces and keep those relationships strong. But again, how do we automate it for them? How do we make it easier?
What excites you about programmatic CTV in 2024?
There's a lot of exciting things happening. We are focused at FreeWheel on bringing that live premium supply to the market. Working on how do we stand up live sports so that we stand it up in a way that we can scale properly, we can make it available in biddable market, we can monetize it, we can get rid of that waste that exists today. We've got to focus on not over-delivering, right? So how do we figure out our pacing so that we properly pace and we can scale throughout a live event as it peaks. And then the last is we are connecting sort of the identifiers, right? We're going out into the industry, we're working with those partners, we're figuring out how to build audiences, and we're allowing everybody to bring their first-party identifiers and building that graph of graphs that everyone talks about, but we're doing it in a safe way. And we're doing it where you do it one time and you get to permission that identifier to any partner you want to work with. You don't have to do it per campaign. And so there's a lot of opportunity to build that scale over 2024.